Good afternoon. I hope you're keeping well, and a warm welcome to another edition of Careers and Coffee. I'm your host, Kieran Buxton, the Enterprise Coordinator covering East Norfolk, Broadland, and West Norfolk from New Anglia LEP, and I'll be hosting today's episode. Today, our guest is Nicky Paine, who is a Liaison Manager at Balfour Beatty, who will be talking about the exciting world of construction and dispelling the myths from construction as well. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let's welcome our guest.
Hello.
Hello, Nicky. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thanks, Kieran. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. And thanks for agreeing to be on Careers and Coffee today. It's great to see you, and I'm sure people are going to love to hear more from you as well. So you're currently at Balfour Beatty as a liaison manager. So what is Balfour Beatty, and what does your role involve?
Balfour Beatty is the UK's leading infrastructure company. So we're about a lot more than construction, really. We basically have the opportunity to shape the communities around us, which is a really exciting industry to be part of. We basically are in four main sectors. So we are in power and energy, transport, social infrastructure, and water. And as you can probably see from that, we have such a wide range of different projects that you can be involved with, both nationally and also obviously with an international company like ours, internationally if you want to, so all over the world. So it's a very exciting industry to be part of, and my role as a liaison manager is basically to ensure that all of the communities that we work in when we're on a project benefit from having us there, and hopefully leave a legacy behind after us. So my role involves going into schools and colleges and talking to young people about the construction industry and hopefully inspiring them to come along and have careers in construction.
No, I mean, from some of the work that I've seen you have done, it's a really interesting industry, and Balfour Beatty are a really interesting company. Did you want to give us a flavour of some of the local projects that you're working on that might be of interest?
Yeah, I mean, some of the local ones that you might be aware of is we worked on the NNDR. Before this project, I was working at RAF Marham, so we were constructing some buildings, so some offices and some hangars for the F-35 fighter jets that came to the
awesome.
US, came from the US to the UK, so that was awesome. That was my first job at Balfour Beatty, actually, and it was amazing just seeing, these, I mean, they were just amazing. They were like space age buildings coming out of the ground. I think that, yes, we were part and parcel of that, so that was amazing. And then I'm working at the moment in King's Lynn for King's Lynn Drainage Board, and we are basically building a new pumping station there. So we are ensuring that there is more flood protection for the local community in King's Lynn.
That just right there shows the wide range of different projects and bits of work that Balfour Beatty get involved with. It sounds, I'm jealous, to be honest. So looking at the work that you guys do, obviously we still have COVID-19 around, and we've been through lockdown as well. What has been some of the working benefits? Because it must have been a massive change for you guys, no?
Yes, I mean, for me, I haven't been in the car nearly as much, so I haven't been getting people on the roads. So I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to work from home, which has been great. So yes, haven't been such long days. It just feels long sometimes when you're in the car all the time. So that's been a benefit, and I think also we've all really had to massively adapt, haven't we? And so a lot of the meetings that we've had, that we would have had face to face, have had to be virtual meetings. And I think we've therefore been a lot better at managing our time and making sure that those meetings finish on time and much more structured. We seem to have a lot more of them, but I think we've been, haven't we? Or is it me?
No, I think we all have.
I think so. But yes, I think we've been a lot better at managing those, I think, with COVID. And for me, I have to say, when it first all struck, I thought, what am I going to do? Because a lot of my job is obviously going out into the community and speaking to people face to face and giving presentations. And I just thought, I'm not going to be able to do any of that. I'm not going to have a job. But it's basically just adapting to somebody like me, as you know, Kieran, very well. I'm not very PC literate. Not good at IT at all, but I've had to change that, and I've had to work and make sure that all the work that I have been able to offer face to face, I can now offer virtually. So it's been brilliant for me. It's been very challenging, but have managed to get over that, and hopefully it's not as good as face to face, but we're, you know, in the challenging times that we're working with, and it means that we are still able to help people.
Well, yeah, it's just about making the best of the situation that we have, and you certainly seem to be doing that. I mean, I can still vouch that you're doing some amazing work in the virtual community, so it's great to see, and just shows how great that it's been that Balfour Beatty have been able to adapt. So still keeping on the topic of COVID as well. So would you say it's really changed the construction industry at all? And if it has, how has it changed it?
I think, yes, it has. I mean, I think the construction industry has adapted really, really well to it. But we have obviously had to work under huge constraints. It has meant that, you know, we've been restricted in our work practices. So sometimes, you know, we've had to make sure that, you know, usually you'd have many more people on a job. You've had to restrict the number of people that can actually physically do something. And that has obviously impacted on how quickly we've been able to complete a project, how we've been able to carry on with our normal working practices. So we have definitely had restrictions in that case. But I think, again, we've been massively adaptable. We've been really fortunate that our subbies have continued working throughout. We've continued working throughout. You know, it's impacted on the programme, obviously, but we've done everything we can to ensure that the impact has been as minimal as it can be. And I am really proud of the industry, the fact that we have continued to work throughout these challenging times.
No, definitely, it's been very powerful to see it continue for jobs, but also for the economy and the wider benefit as well. Just talking about how things have changed due to COVID as well. So obviously you mentioned that your role involves supporting schools as an example of your community outreach. What support can you, as well as Balfour Beatty, offer to schools at the moment? I think that'd just be really interesting to hear how you're able to support schools at these times.
Yeah, well, at the moment, I'm doing quite a lot through employability. So I am giving virtual employability presentations. So those can either be live presentations, or I've recorded some presentations that I've sent through. Also careers, so I've been able to again virtually do a presentation or send through a recorded presentation, just giving students an insight into the construction industry, the roles there are available, the routes into the industry. I've been able to do all of that. Been doing mock interviews and CV advice. So really everything that I would have been doing face to face, I have been doing virtually. I'm all over the place, Kieran.
Well, it looks very organised and very effective, so that's the main thing. So moving on as well, looking at potential opportunities for young people moving forward, what are the types of opportunities that Balfour Beatty offer?
We have so many opportunities to offer young people. As a business, we firmly believe that young people are our future. We are part of the 5% Club, which is basically our commitment to ensure that at least 5% of our overall population comprises of trainees, apprentices and graduates. So it's a massive commitment from us as an organisation, and it's something that we are working really, really hard to entice as many young people we can into the organisation. So yes, through traineeships, through internships, through apprenticeships, which are an amazing way to learn your trade and to work, to earn at the same time. So yeah, we have all sorts of different apprenticeships. They're not just, so you could obviously do an apprenticeship in construction, in civil engineering, you could become a QS, but also roles that will support a project and support the construction of a project, like roles in finance, roles in HR, IT, administration, lots and lots of different opportunities and different roles that we are able to offer.
So that's just amazing, because again, someone might look at Balfour Beatty and go, "Oh, it's all construction based," but it's the nuts and bolts that make the organisation work as well. So certainly, some people listening, it opens their eyes to hear that. That's for sure.
It does, yes, absolutely.
So just as well to put it into perspective, because you mentioned about 5% of the organisation's made up of trainees, apprentices, graduates. So I'm not going to ask you for an exact figure because that would be a bit harsh, but roughly how many people are within Balfour Beatty? Because to some people, 5% might not sound much, but obviously I know Balfour Beatty being a large organisation, 5% is a
Yes,
big commitment.
it is. It's 27,000 employees within the business, so
Wow.
it makes up a huge percentage. And also, we have really upped our intake. So over the last year, we've got 30% extra into our emerging talent. So those are the apprentices, trainees. That are, so we're really growing it. It is something we are very, very passionate. As a business, our CEO actually set up the 5% club. So it's obviously something that he is really, really invested into. And that has obviously gone throughout our business. So yeah, we do believe, as I said, that young people are our future.
That is amazing. No, it's really good to hear, and it just shows how many opportunities are out there through Balfour Beatty. So I know that you're really big in terms of looking at social mobility, Nicky. I know that's quite a passion of yours, and I know Balfour Beatty takes social mobility quite seriously. But why is social mobility important to you?
It's massively important because it levels the playing field, doesn't it? It means that everybody has equal opportunities, including those people who have had difficult starts, who've come from difficult backgrounds, underprivileged backgrounds. It gives everybody equal opportunities, really. And as an organisation, we really truly believe that we need to level that playing field, and also that it helps us as an organisation. It helps us become much more a much fairer employer and a much more diverse organisation.
No, that's brilliant, and it's really good to hear that large organisations like Balfour Beatty and individuals like yourself really take it seriously. And I know a lot of young people will be relieved to hear that as well. So we've got a question that's come through on the live chat. So what is the best thing about your job, and what do you enjoy most?
I love my job, actually. It's difficult the best part about it, I suppose, is I love going out, meeting different people. As you can probably tell, I'm really passionate about getting young people into construction and into the industry. But also helping them and not just young people as well. We do a lot of work with Job Centre Plus. So it's just really helping people. I think that's probably the part of my job that I like most, is the fact that I feel as if I'm doing something positive. I'm being a help. I'm being useful, hopefully, and just encouraging people into what I think is an incredibly exciting business.
No, that's brilliant. And like I say, from the work that I've done with you, Nicky, I know that passion really does come across as well. So moving on to the next question. So we've obviously talked about young people and the opportunities that Balfour Beatty offer. So when a young person comes forward and applies for an opportunity with Balfour Beatty, what are the skills that you look for in the young person?
We'd look for obviously good written and verbal communication skills are really, really important. So, obviously when you're working as part of an organisation, as part of a team, it's really important that anything that's written or anything in any meetings or over the phone represents us well, and that is professional at all times. So written and verbal communication skills are really, really important. To be a team player is massively important. We want to know that you're going to fit in. It's so important. And, not particularly that, sometimes you do over and above, so it's not particularly in your job title, but we're all working together to make sure that we get the job done and we get it done well. So it's really important to be a good team player. Good problem solving skills, I think, are very important. The ability to form really good working relationships, both within the business and externally. But I think probably the most important is to have a really positive can-do attitude, because we can teach you any number of skills, but it's really important that you've got that positive attitude, that you're really receptive to learning those new skills, and also that you're a positive person that we want to be part of our team.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, really, really important.
No, that's some really good tips, actually, really useful tips. And I mean, well, you say about team player. If you've got 27,000 people in your organisation, if you're not a team player, you might struggle a little bit there. But
Exactly.
we just got another question come through as well, so I'll move on to that. So what has been the worst or hardest interview question you've ever been asked? They could be the same, they could be different, I suppose.
I suppose one that's really difficult, but that have actually been asked a number of occasions is what are your weaknesses? And actually even what are your strengths? Because you don't want, I hate sounding like a big head or looking as if I'm blowing my own trumpet. So I really don't like being asked what my strengths are, but I often go and I speak, as I said, I do lots of employability talks with people, and that's something I say to them and should listen to myself. It's very difficult, but obviously you're the only person that's there to sell yourself, so it's really important that you put forward your strengths and you think about. So I always make sure that before I go to an interview that I've prepared for that question, prepared for any questions, but prepared particularly for that question. And the weaknesses, I think, is a really difficult one because you don't want to look as if you're bad at anything, obviously. So
no, but at the same time,
exactly, I try and think of a weakness that could come across as a positive.
Oh, that's brilliant. But no, that is a question. It does really throw people off, but it's something that comes up so often, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think every interview I've been to, I've been asked that question. So I'm prepared for it now.
Don't know if you can ever prepare for that one. The other, a bit random, but the weirdest, I think, interview question I've had is if you were an animal, what would you be and why? So that's my weirdest one I've ever experienced. Apparently it's a bit of personality traits.
So what do you
say? So that's an interesting one. I think I said I'd be an elephant so I can blow water out my nose and amuse myself. But so
fantastic.
Anyway, this is not about me. So moving on to the next one. Sorry. What's been some of the highs and lows within your career?
I think I've been very fortunate. I can't really think of a huge amount of lows. I suppose for me, when I left school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I didn't know what I was good at. So that was quite difficult in a way. But I went out and I temped for quite a few different organisations, and that gave me a really good feel of what sort of company I wanted to work for, what sort of company I didn't want to work for. Showed me what my strengths were really, and what I enjoyed doing and what I was good at. So I sort of naturally fell into sales, marketing, and communication sort of roles. So yes, that was really that was probably more difficult to know. That was kind of a lowish in the fact I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I got there in the end. And then the highs, I've been working for Balfour Beatty for 4 years. I've absolutely loved every minute of it, actually. And I think one of my highs was working with the Prince's Trust team on their Get Into Construction programme. And that was a programme, but it was fantastic. It basically, we had a group of 10 young people who weren't in employment, they weren't in training, often from very difficult backgrounds, some of them, and they came onto the programme, and it was just amazing to see how they developed. From the beginning, we were working with the College of West Anglia as well, so they had their training at the college, and then they came to do their work experience with us. And the difference in those young people in the course of that time was absolutely incredible. It was really humbling, and it is absolutely my all-time high of my career.
Oh, that sounds really amazing. It's very sincere of you as well. The fact that just shows you as a person, but Balfour Beatty as a company, the fact that you're the high within the career is actually the way that you've supported young people to get from A to B, essentially. So that's really refreshing to hear. So the next question that I've got for you is, do you ever find it challenging being a female in the construction sector?
Honestly, no, I don't. No, it's not. Me personally, I haven't at all. I think it's a really exciting, vibrant industry to be part of. I've personally loved every single minute of it. I've loved the fact that I've been working, as I said to you before, on a project, from watching it from its initiation all the way to completion, and knowing that I've been working with an amazing team to be part of that end product has just been superb. I've never been treated with anything other than respect. And I have to say, I've loved every minute of it. It's been irrelevant to me that I've been a woman in construction. It's just been a great industry to be part of, and it hasn't made any difference that I don't think that I'm a woman or anything else. It's just a great industry to be part of.
Yeah, that's really that's brilliant to hear, because I know, personally speaking to students myself in the past, sometimes that's been a bit of a worry, or it's not necessarily been highlighted to women as much. Obviously, I know there's a lot of campaigns around like women in construction now, which is brilliant. But to hear that from someone within the industry, just hopefully is a real confidence boost for some young females that want to go into the industry.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, I mean, that leads nicely into the next point I want to ask you about. So what are some of the common misconceptions about being in the construction sector?
It does lead nicely, Kieran, because that is one of them. It's obviously that construction is a man's job. Well, it's not. There are 320,000 young women in UK construction. Wow. So it is, there are lots of us here, and it's something obviously that the industry is working, as you mentioned. We're working really, really hard to get young ladies into construction. There are so many exciting roles that are available for women in construction. So that is one of the myths, and that is something that we are working really, really hard as an industry to dispel. Another myth is that it's a dirty job. It's the job that you're out on the site getting cold. There are some really, really exciting jobs on a bit, as you're part and parcel of creating this building. It's great to be out on the site, and I promise we provide all the clothing possible to make sure that you're as warm as you possibly can be when you're out on site. If you don't want to work out on site, that's absolutely fine as well. We've got loads and loads of different roles that are available for you. Roles in finance, as I said, HR, IT, administration. There are lots of other roles that are actually helping to support that project, that are behind the scenes, that you don't have to step a foot on a building site. So yes, we've got all of those as well. That's one of the myths. What is another one? That it's a dead end job as well, which is bizarre. It's a massively exciting job to go into, and there are so many different opportunities. You can go from one role to the next within construction, and it's a massively innovative industry. It's really fast moving, fast paced now. There's so much innovation going on with our industry that it's definitely not a dead end job. There are lots of different opportunities within it.
I'm really surprised to hear that one, actually.
Yeah, no, exactly. That is one of them, Kieran. So I think, yes, hopefully that's a bit of a dispellation of the myths that there are out there.
Wow. No, I've not heard that one for a long time. I didn't actually realise that people still made that assumption. So at least you cleared that one up, Nicky. So
yes.
Thinking back to when Nicky was in school, what was the careers advice like when you're in education?
Kieran, that was a very, very long time ago. What was
the
careers advice? It was obviously we were encouraged, or we were told that maths and English GCSEs were really important. So that's the same now as it was then. There wasn't nearly as much focus or breadth of opportunity for apprenticeships. There weren't nearly as many apprenticeships out there, and I don't think they were handled very well in my time. Now you have got so many different exciting apprenticeships in lots of different roles within lots of different businesses. There is so much opportunity out there for you. And as I've said before, I'm a massive advocate of apprenticeships. I think they're an amazing way to learn your trade whilst you're earning at the same time. So there wasn't that opportunity at the time, I don't think. And I think careers advice now is much better than it was in my day. I think there's much more focus on it. I think I think a lot more businesses are becoming more involved with going into schools and colleges, talking to students about their roles, their industries, how they got there, and hopefully breaking down those barriers a little bit and showing that employers are not as scary as we can sometimes look. So I think it's much better. I think careers advice now is a lot better than it was in my dark old days.
Well, that's reassuring to hear for the young people that are currently going through their school and career. So another one that I've got, thinking again back to sort of around the time you were in education, if you had to go back and talk to yourself when you were 17 years old, what would you say, careers related, that is?
I don't know. I suppose not to worry about if I didn't know what I wanted to do. Don't worry about it. Focus on what you're good at. Focus on your strengths. Focus on what you enjoy is a really, really important one. As you can see, I really enjoy my job. I have, throughout my career, I've enjoyed all my jobs, I think, and it was because I chose roles that I suppose I had strengths at, but also that I really enjoyed. We're at work a long time. We spend a lot of our work, a lot of our lives at work, don't we? Probably more time at work than we spend with our families. So it's really, really important that we choose something that we really enjoy doing. And also we're at work for quite a few years as well. So what I would say to a young Nicky would be, don't worry if you don't know what you're good at. Focus on your strengths. Focus on what you're good at, and make sure you enjoy what you do.
I think that's a really important thing to echo, is about enjoying what you do as well. Like you say, you're in work for a long time. If you're not going to enjoy it, it's going to be a long life for not necessarily the positive reasons. So, no, I think that's really important. How can I link what I do at school to a role in construction? Another question.
Well, there are all sorts of. What are they interested in at school? There are obviously lots of STEM roles when you're learning STEM.
Just in case they don't know, what do you want to elaborate on what STEM is?
So,
just in case.
Yes. Oh no, Kieran, you're gonna test me at that now. So it's science, technology, engineering, and math. So it's all those roles that would obviously be very important in construction. So that's how you could link those with construction roles, but also things that and that will be like the physical. So if you want to be an architect, it's something that you if you're good at drawing, if you like drawing. It's the STEM roles for if you want to do civil engineering, maths, so quantity surveyor. And again, then if you do HR, something that you or something like me with sales and marketing, if you're good at English. So there are lots and lots of different roles within construction that do very much have a basis on what you're studying at school at the moment.
Brilliant. No, I think that's a really good bit of advice. So I've just got one last question from myself, considering what we were talking about earlier around interviews and weirdest questions. So if you were an animal, Nicky, what would you be and why?
Oh, Kieran, don't ask me that. I'm not going to reply. I don't know what I'd be. What would I be? I can't think. You're totally putting me on the spot now. And I'll never do one of these again. I don't know. You've totally thrown me. That's a really bad. So I'd fail my interview in that case, wouldn't I?
So let's hope that doesn't come up, Nicky. Hopefully it won't in the construction industry or any other interviews that anyone attends.
Exactly.
So I think, to be honest, that's all the questions I've got at the moment. So all I'm going to say is thank you so much for joining us today, Nicky. It's been really great to have you on. It's been really interesting and informative. I think hearing some of those misconceptions in the industry and how to sort of overcome those myths has been really important. But some of the advice and also hearing about the wide range of opportunities in an organisation like Balfour Beatty is really inspiring. So a massive thank you, Nicky, and I hope to see you soon.
And you, Kieran, thank you very much indeed.
Well, that's everything today. Thank you again to Nicky for joining us. It was really inspiring and inspirational, and I think it's just a really good outlook on the construction industry, but also the range of roles that are within. I'd like to say thank you to Ashley Ruthven again for making this all come together behind the scenes. As we know from last time that I hosted, that there can be technical difficulties that happen. So it's great to have someone supporting me behind the scenes. To help us continue to improve, we do have a survey in the description. So please, if you get the opportunity, take a look and fill it out, just so it can help us to meet the needs of what you guys want. And it's it's really appreciated when you do. So there is another episode of Careers in Coffee on Thursday, and we have Scott Burden from New Anglia LEP. There always seems to be someone from the LEP following me. And he is a growth deal coordinator. So if you want to hear more about what a growth deal coordinator is and what they do, please tune in on Thursday at 11:30. Have a great week, everyone, and hopefully see you soon.